Hey everyone, this is another video review, and this is the final War Giant set. This is Iron Factor's IFEX23 War Giant Blaster, aka Boosterspear and Spinvulture. Their versions of Blast Off and Vortex. Yes, in the final bit. And real quick, we'll look at the box once again. Very much a just white box with the figures on it, and there's a little cutout for them. Pictures of them. Picture of them. Hey, their names there. Warnings and stuff. Made in China, and hey, look, there they are, various poses and whatnot in their multiple modes, and a QR code. So, yep, pretty much just like the other boxes in that regard. Also comes with, of course, the instructions, nice and clear for the most part. Yeah, pretty much everything you need to know is in there, pretty nice and clear. There's that. Anyway, moving on. As you can see, yes, these are the Blast Off and Vortex, the shuttle, and helicopter. They come, as you can see, with flight stands. You have to build them yourself. They're disassembled. They come in multiple pieces. They also come with adapters, so you can also use them as Tamashii stage substitutes if you want, because they are Tamashii. Any figure that's Tamashii compatible is also figure compatible with these stands. But they also have adapters for these figures in particular. I'm going to go ahead and first focus on the Boosterspear here. And you can see, yeah, again, a light brown shuttle. Kind of more, I guess, in line with some of the toy stuff. His cartoon appearance, G1, is much darker. But, you know, he's also got dark brown with purple windows. Little spots to put, I guess, faction symbol. You can also see that his wings kind of curl up, angle up. On mine, there's a small thing in that this is something slightly misaligned here, so the wing doesn't fully tab in like it's supposed to, if you can see that. The wing doesn't fully tab in, unfortunately, but it's not a huge deal, but it is something I didn't notice. He's got his boosters on the back. He's got little guns. Yeah, he's on the flight stand, and it has an adapter for these guys. Each of them have a little purple adapter. But yeah, here it is. It's a nice little shuttle. It's got a little, little porthole for a gun or whatever. Speaking of, here's his gun. You can plug that in the top here if you want, although it's kind of a loose connection. It's holds, but it's kind of loose. You can also, if you want, take the adapter from the flight stand, plug it in the bottom again without the flight stand, and plug the gun in underneath. That's how the instructions show you how to do it, but then he doesn't settle on the ground very easily. But you can do it that way. This flight stand also multiple articulation points. I guess you could rotate it here, but it's stiff. You can rotate it there, and you can rotate it here. Again, really tight though. There's also an extra, this is the adapter piece, I just plugged it in. It's kind of hard to see because it's, well, clear. It's transparent, so it's really hard to see, but you can, there's a little adapter piece. This is what adapts it to Tamashii stage stuff. But I just like to plug it down here so I don't lose it. I'm going to put that flight stand off to the side. And, well, now we're going to take a look at Vortex, or, well, Spinvulture. Nice shade of blue, I'll say that. It's a very nice shade of blue. Nice darker shade picked out for the cockpit. He's got, 3 guns. So military, 2, I guess, miniguns and a cannon of some sort at the front. This spins pretty well. Either way, there's no rear rotor, oddly enough. The thing is, these do bend. They're intended to. They are on a hinge, so it's easy to accidentally unlock these blades out of alignment. I've noticed it's really easy to accidentally do that, but it's not too bad. Still spins pretty freely. You can also adjust this a little bit. It needs to adjust forward so it can clear these fins back here. But yeah, it's you can kind of see hollowness. There's a little bit of a landing gear, like molded in right there at the bottom, which reminds me, I forgot. Landing gear, you can pull these out. 2 wheels in the front. Pull them out. You just, pull. So he's got the 2 pieces of landing gear, which kind of help with your guns. That I forgot about that. But yeah, it's again, it's a nice little helicopter, but there's kind of gapping. You can kind of see right there. There's gaps in the helicopter mode. It's not too bad, but I might frustrate some people. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay. Now to I guess compare. Because gotta have the complete team in here now. So gonna adjust this a little bit. And Armorborn Bazooka Hound here on the sides. And of course Cannon Chariot, who is still quite large, especially with his full trailer attached. Yeah. You can see they look good together. The Combaticons, they should. So yeah, this is the final, I guess, configuration. Just to show it off real quick. Also, because the trailer again, this is pretty obviously intended for blast off, so you can put blast off in here, no problem. He doesn't like peg in or anything. I wish he did. I kind of wish there was a spot for it to peg in, but as it stands, it will actually kind of just rest in kind of the grooves on the trailer, so it does hold on all right as long as you don't mess with it too much. It'll rest there, no problem. The other thing is this set also finally comes with the fists that go in these. They just slide in. You have to fold them up a very specific way. If I can get one of them out. As you see, you have to fold up like this. If you can see how the fingers are curled up, including the thumb. If they're curled up like this and they fit in, they just slide right in. They might catch a little bit, so you might have to squeeze past things, but this thumb will sit and just kind of rest in this little cutout, and that when it goes all the way in, that fills in these things real nice. You just got the attachment points for the combined mode sticking out. So that's where they store. And they could go on the back of the trailer, like I said in the Cannon Chariot review. They'll go on the back of the trailer, and there you go. Get these guys out of the way. And we can move on to transformation. All right, so in transform, let's go ahead and start with Boosterspear here. So we'll put a Spinvulture off to the side. There's a couple things people need to know in particular about Boosterspear. Okay, first though, take those guns off, put them off to the side. Untab the wings from the side and fold those down and fold those to the sides like this. Fold that up. Then, let's see, probably go ahead, yeah. Take these feet pieces here, move them down, and rotate them around, like so. Move down, rotate it around, like so. Go ahead and split these. Open up these panels. Open up the panels. They're kind of tight. I need to probably tighten those or loosen those up with some shock oil. And extend the legs out on a hinge, much like a lot of the Combiner Wars figures. And then this tab right here will go into this slot here. And that will lock it into place. So, I'm going to refocus the camera because here. And so open up the other panel. Same thing. Lock into place. And there's the legs done. More or less. How to configure the feet is a bit of a mystery. I think it's supposed to be like this, but also it might be more like that. I guess preference. I'm going to go ahead and put it like that. You can stand them up. Back here, you want to take the canopy, or not the canopy, but the cockpit, and untab it. Okay, that was separating. Might have to reglue that, but that's new. That's never happened. That was separating. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a common problem, but be careful with that. It's just that purple piece inside was separating, but unpeg it from here and put it down the back and split the front end and rotate the arms down. Untab these side pieces. They're very tight. They go in these, the tabs go in those slots. Very, very tight. Move those up and rotate the fist forward. Same on this side. Untab it. Again, very tight. And rotate the fist forward. And here's the problem part. Okay, so see this? His head. Yeah, his head. There's this little tab right here. This little thing right here. Multiple people have sheared this off or stress cracked this or whatever. This little tab. Because it's very fragile and the thing is stupidly tight. You might want to take a screwdriver and get behind the head to help you get it out rather than relying on this tab. I also found that oddly enough, pushing on the back, there's this little panel here. This is for the combined mode. This little panel here that moves. If you kind of start pushing the head up and push this panel in, it'll help push the head up, and so you don't break that tab. So you can do that too. I'll show that again because I think I went off camera. But yeah, you push this back part right here. You push down on that. You push down on this back part while pulling the head out. It has a tendency to clear up a little enough, just enough so that you can actually get the head out without breaking anything. Then you can lock it into place. Then you can lock the head into place by pulling it up. And there you go. Yeah, just lock the head into place. Don't use the tab, just push on the back of the head. Lock into place and pull that back down. There you go. Now you got Boosterspear in his robot mode. So yeah, just be careful with that tab. That's just to say. Use a screwdriver, or I found that, yeah, again, pushing on this back panel right here helps a lot. Just pushing on the bottom half of it will help. Now, Spinvulture. You don't have to, but I would recommend just pulling the propeller blades off. They get in the way otherwise. Also remove the guns, the two side guns, and then you remove the whole front of the cockpit. That will become his gun as well. And yeah, I know parts forming, but it becomes a weapon, so it's forgivable. Now what you want to do here is open up this bottom half right here. Open that up and untab. There's two tabs right here. Untab the front end from there. And in doing so also, I just extended that. Don't want to do that. Also split the cockpit like so, and then you can rotate the legs out like that. Rotate them out. Also very tight. You close up these back panels, and also flip the feet down like that. And you got the legs pretty much done. Untab the arms from the sides. So, just little tabs right there and slots there. Tab the arms and uncurl them. Untab the arm and uncurl it. You're also supposed to take these little panels and flare them out if you want. And you take the whole tail section and move it down. Untap this part as well and fold it down. Rotate the head. And then also take the propeller and see it's off-centered. You kind of want it angled so it's like this. You want it like that when you plug it in. So it'll sit a little lower. You can do whatever you want with propeller blades. I cannot say words today. And then try to move the propeller blades in such a way that this kind of hugs over it. It's hard to explain, but hopefully it makes sense. Then you can do whatever you want with the propeller blades. You can kind of flare them out a bit or whatever. There you go. Then it kind of holds. You can have that holding over. And there you go. You have more or less have his Spinvulture's robot mode. Oh yeah, and his cannons. Okay, you can do multiple things with the cannons. You can put them on these little back things, which the problem is the propellers kind of getting a little bit in the way. You have to then do weird stuff with the propellers like this, like get them out of the way. You can, so you can like put the cannons on this back plate thing and then move that up. So he has shoulder guns, or you can put them on his arms, or do both at the same time. like so. You can also arm him with his weapon, like that, and all that stuff rotates so you can hold it properly. Oh yeah, I almost forgot this part. These guns for a booster spear, you plug them in. Instructions have them like this. So you take the smaller peg and plug it into the hole. And they also show it angled up a little bit. And you can also take his gun. Yeah, he has a little black gun as well. And plug it in. So it's not the greatest peg. I've noticed that peg is particularly, kind of seems to be a little smaller than it should be. Notice that. So, there you go. Two of them. Gonna, again, focus. There you go. You got the two of them in robot mode. And they look good. They look good. Like I said, there's a couple problems. Namely, his head is scary for a lot of people. Have broken theirs. The propeller's annoying on him. And there's a couple, again, tight joints. This is a consistent problem with Iron Factories. Joints are too tight. Except for one thing, oddly enough, this gun folds. This joint is too loose. This is the one time I'm complaining about a loose joint on Iron Factory stuff. But yeah, it's just those are the big problems for me. Is that head's scary. The propeller blades get in the way no matter what you do. And on mine, one of the wings is slightly askew when it shouldn't be. Unfortunately, so yeah, that's a minor QC problem. I might have to contact for replacement, but it doesn't bother me enough that it's a deal breaker. I might just go ahead and just live with it as it stands. So there you go. And yeah, they look really good in robot mode, like I said. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kind of look at this stuff. I mean, it's got a nice, very nice purple body with like silver detailing picked out right here, little gray vents or silver vents, and different shades of brown, dark browns, light browns. Silver again, kind of gunmetal / silver on the toes. His head is kind of weird. He's got red eyes picked out. It's kind of hard to see. But or I think they're purple eyes actually. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, they're purple. Kind of red in some light, so weirdly enough. But yeah, they're purple eyes. Kind of well picked out. Kind of a tiny head though, but it's a Legends class figure, so what do you expect really? Again, just really nice looking overall. There's a little black from there for different things, but I also like the little shoulder pads. So he looks good, I think. It's just a really nice looking figure, and he's got a ball jointed head, although it's a little limited thanks to this, sometimes if you move it the wrong way, but can look left and right and a little bit up and down, although it's mostly the platform that's doing it right now. But you can move up and down, it can wiggle a little bit. Tiny little ball joint. Got ball jointed shoulders. They can move forward and back and outward. You can also adjust how high they sit if you want. You can adjust the angle of the shoulder pads. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a hinge elbow, which bends that far. He's got wrist swivels. He's got a waist swivel. You can kind of do ab crunch with the combiner. With the combiner joint, you can do an ab crunch of sorts. Yeah, again, the waist swivel though. Hips forward and back on ball joints. They got pretty decent range. Also outward. Again, decent range. Thigh swivel. Thigh swivel if it cooperates. Thigh swivel. Knee bend ain't quite 90 degrees, but that's because of how it transforms and stuff. It just almost, but not quite. And he's got his toe. He's got a toe joint, which also can act as an ankle tilt and move forward. And not really back too much, but you can adjust the height a little bit from that. So you got pretty good posability, especially again for a figure of this size. That would just peg in. There we go. Yeah, that's the other thing is this peg. Something's wrong with this peg. I've noticed that with every single thing I peg this into, it doesn't want to, hold. Spinvulture, really nice colors. I like the blues in here. I like the new blues that pop up in robot mode. Looks really good. Yeah, but there's this really nice dark shade of purple right here as well, and his torso got a little bit of silver detailing in the black here from the combined mode, though that was slightly off. And he also got this really cool really nice red visor thing on his helmet. And it looks real nice in his silver painted face. Yeah, it looks good. Otherwise, though, he doesn't have a whole lot of detailing paint-wise. His head is on a ball joint. It's really stiff ball joint, but it's on a ball joint. You can look left and right. You can look up and down a little bit. Mostly up. And it also can, of course, wiggle a tiny bit as well. Again, really tight. I'm going to have to shock oil that. His shoulders are on a ball joint, so lots of forward and back. Outward is also another one of those. You can adjust the height of the shoulder if you want. You can accidentally pull the cannon off. You got a bicep swivel, again, really tight. Pull that off. Really tight bicep swivel. He's got a little dual jointed elbows thanks to his transformation. He's got double jointed elbows so they can do a full curl. And he's got a wrist swivel, as you can see. Pretty solid wrist swivel. He's also got a waist joint, which is very tight. For the point I thought it was really limited at first, but it's just really tight. Again, you can kind of, sort of, I think, simulate an ab crunch on him with the combiner joints, and that just came off. I'm just going to put that to the side so it's not in the way. You can kind of simulate an ab crunch, although not as extreme as his. Ball joints go forward and back on the hips. Outward as well, about 90 degrees. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got dual hinge knees, so you got that. He's got quite the curl there, although sculpting and stuff prevents it from curling up too much. And he's got little toes that are on ball joints, so they can move side to side and forward and back and all that stuff. They only go back that far, but they can move forward quite a bit and lots of side to side motion. So yeah, these guys, again, for Legends class figures, they have a pretty darn good articulation. Really quite fond of how they look and move and everything. If I can just get this gun back in his hand. It's being kind of stubborn. There we go. Yeah, let's go again. Let's try to put this back on. There we go. I've noticed that for me, the propeller blade's a little loose, so it comes off really easily, and sometimes when I really don't want it to come off. So yeah, those two. And well, the team, assemble the team, because got to do that. Yeah, there's the whole Combaticon team. And just for the heck of it, here's Shockwave as well. Just for, or the Bridge Watcher, I should say. Just for height comparison. He's a bit taller than most of them. Not quite as tall as a Cannon Chariot, but he's a bit taller. Oh yeah, and of course there's the Bruticus bust. Which you can see is a little back heavy now thanks to the fists are in there, so they're a little back heavy. But you can also take these pieces, those little adapter pieces from before, and they actually go in here. One they peg on right here. This is where they can store. The other one can also peg on right here, and they can store inside, no problem. I can just get this to realign and stuff falling off. The only thing is, now that the fists are in these little rocket pod things, he has a tendency to lean back a little bit. You can see, yeah, the bust now, you can store everything in there. The little clips are in there and everything. Works really well. Here, remove these guys. Finally the bust. And there we go. That was the full team. These are really great little figures, even on their own, but of course, almost everyone's going to buy these guys because, well, they want to form the War Giant. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? I mean, unless you're a huge fan of one or two of these characters, but, well, I think most people are going to be buying that whole team. And, well, these guys also turn into limbs for the War Giant. And to do so, you got to pull all the guns off. All the guns. Both of them. But you need Boosterspear's guns, particular for his combined mode. So for the thing going to do, I'm going to put that head away for one. Put the head back in its little slot. Take the arms and more or less transform the arms back to shuttle mode. So rotate the wrists back. Put these panels back down. Tab them into place. Rotate them up. Together, like so. They don't tab together yet, but then you take this piece and this tabs down, and that holds everything together. Like that. And then you take the legs and tab them together. And these feet, though, you want to keep those. You want to rotate these feet back into their shuttle mode position. And then you take the waist and you, well, extend it. Like that. Until it's all the way out like that. Actually, you don't want to keep the legs transformed. I just forgot. Okay, extend that waist and then open the legs back up. Collapse them. See, I'm thinking of Combiner Wars. That's the problem. Collapse them, and again, hinges are very tight. Collapse the legs up and close this up. And then tab them together once you're all done with that. Tab all together and close this up. Yep. Rotate, let's see, this way. Rotate the whole thing. Yep. Then you take these two guns. They actually tab together. Like this, such. Tab together. You unfold this piece right here. And these little things will slot in right here. Right here above the elbow joint, there's a little slot now. You slot this in. You slot it in like that. Put it all the way up. And then put those guns up. And there you go. That's that piece. And then take the fists out of the little rocket slots. You take them, just slide them out. And this fist right here, this is the one that goes to Boosterspear. Take the fist and I guess uncurl the fingers now. Well, it's a little easier. Uncurl the fingers and everything, get it ready to go. It'd be a hand. And these two pegs will go into these holes right here. So. So, that. And then you rotate the hand so it's facing like this. And you've got, well, one arm done. And to go to the other arm, Spinvulture. Well, first thing, rotate the head around. And then take the, once again, take the propellers off just because they'll be in the way. You take the tail piece and put it back into alt node position. If you have them up, collapse these little shoulder pads down. Curl the arms up. And then, rather than this mode, what you want to do is rotate them back. And there's another slot right there. Man, I don't know what it is, but I swear I can't seem to get the focus. Yeah, there's another slot right there. Tab it in that way. That's how you tab it in for the arm mode for this guy. You take the feet, move them back up, open up these back panels, and collapse and rotate them back up. Make sure these panels right here, make sure these are flat against the bottom. Make sure that they're not like at an angle like that. If they're not at an angle, something's going to go wrong. You want them flat. Don't put these together quite yet. What you want to do is take this gun piece, pull the gun off the cockpit, put that off to the side. You'll need that later. And then you want to take the gun handle. You see it's kind of got little indentations in it. There's a little groove right here in the middle of the cockpit. You want to take them, put it in one side or the other, and then close the cockpit up around it. Like that. Also, you want to curl the gun piece up like that right now. Then you can close up the or not. I'm gonna say you can close up the little panels on the back. Okay, what the heck? Something's not lined up. Right. Close the panels on the back and also kind of move the waist out because that's going to free up for articulation. And then you also extend the waist fully until it clicks into place right here. Then you rotate it this way. And you want to put the propellers back on. So just put them back on, do what you want with them. And then take the other fist, and this is where it gets a little more complicated. Okay, there's little tabs right here on the fist. They go in these slots right here. That's why you need that lined up properly. Also, adjust the hand so it's looks like a hand and not a weird fist. And put them in the slots like that. Then up here on the cockpit front piece, there's little tabs on those, which will go into little slots on the hand. Ostensibly, that should lock it all into place. Once you got it all fitted in solidly. Should all lock into place. And that is, and then you rotate the hand, and that is more or less the arm mode for Spinvulture. Which means it is ready for one final piece, which we'll get to in the fourth and final video in the War Giant series, which will kind of do the final piece of everything. So tune in for that video. Should be up pretty much right after this one, and I'll see you there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 and yeah, bye.